Hey guys, it's Arth. I'm showcasing this video on my YouTube page for a couple reasons. One, it's a very tankable fight for hunters. A lot of hunters don't explore this aspect of their class, so I think it's nice to show examples of it. And second, this fight highlights one of the biggest things we have to deal with when we tank, and that's pet movement and pet management. So if you're interested in general pet tanking strategies and tips, including spec, gear, and glyphs, head over to the Warcraft Hunters Union and find the pet tanking section in the main guides page. Because here in my commentary, I'll be focusing all of the commentary on pet management. So to put it mildly, pet management is horrible in Cataclysm. Um, I'm not saying this to QQ simply for the sake of it. I love WoW and I love the fact that we can tank as hunters, but it's just something that I have encountered a lot of problems with, and this fight shows a lot of it. For example, when you tell your pet to go somewhere, you have the move to feature telling him, hey, go over here, this is where I want you. Sometimes he'll actually go there on the first try. Other times he'll start to head there, but then he'll get attacked and he'll stop and he won't go there. Other times you have to tell him 2 or 3 times to go to a particular place before it actually happens. Sometimes he'll get there, but then he'll face the opposite direction so that the boss is facing the wrong way. And this can happen with a completely wrong direction or just an angle that's a little bit more annoying. Sometimes you'll have him in defensive stance instead of the normal assist stance that a lot of hunters use in raids right now. And he'll stand next to you like he's on passive, even if you're getting attacked. So that's another problem that sometimes you'll encounter. And sometimes he just decides that even when you're not telling him to do anything in particular, that it's a nice time to do a complete 180 and face the boss a different direction. Some fights this isn't a problem. On very specific fights where you have to worry about movement and placement, and or maybe when the boss cleaves so that the melee aren't in the wrong position, this can become a problem. So these are all things that I've encountered. A lot of the problems that I've encountered, not all of them. There are others, but those are some of the bigger ones. So I actually hope you can see it on this video here in a little while, but there's a point in this fight where I send my pet to a particular spot, and you can see the little green circle that I'm trying to send him to, and not only does he not go there, but he runs right towards me instead. So I don't know what happened, but these sort of wonky pet management mechanics are the sorts of things that you may have to deal with at some point. I would post the vent chatter from that moment, but I'm trying to keep my videos acceptable for children. So most of the mistakes I mentioned, not mistakes, but things that you may have to deal with at some point, most of those are in this video at some point. It's one of the things that I can't really control with a lot of my videos in WoW, because we're one-shotting a lot of this content and we're not doing it every week. So when I'm getting a video of me pet tanking something, most of the time I don't get a chance to do a second take if the first attempt is a bit sloppy. But rather than bemoaning that fact, I'm turning it into a teaching experience here to try to prepare hunters for what they might be dealing with. This isn't particular to pet tanking. A lot of it will happen when you're trying to solo content as well. So one of the things that I would tell hunters is, if you're interested in pet tanking, if you're interested in soloing hard content, work your way up slowly and try to identify a lot of these problems that you might encounter so that you have ways of dealing with them once you get to the higher level content. I haven't discovered a magical formula that works all the time, so there's no particular tip or trick that I'm going to impart here. When you're DPSing, this doesn't matter quite as much, so it's not something most hunters have to deal with, but tanking does bring out some of the flaws in the current pet management design. So my only advice is that if you're soloing or tanking, be prepared to pay pretty much constant attention to your pet on encounters where it matters, where you tank the boss. So sometimes you'll get lucky either on a fight where positioning doesn't matter at all, or sometimes you'll just send in your pet and the fight seems to take care of itself. Those are the good fights. Those are the ones that you should be targeting to tank if you're trying to work your way into pet tanking. So that's something definitely to keep an eye out for when you're evaluating encounters of ones that you might try to tank. That's all I have for now, so enjoy the rest of the fight, and I'll see you soon.